Now, folks have been asking me to talk about The Woman in the Yard since the day it came out because a lot of folks left the theater like, well, what was that? Baby, let me tell you what was that. The Woman in the Yard is starring Danielle Detweiler, who is playing a mother of two children. Her and her husband were on the way home from a date and they ended up getting into a severe car accident which left her injured and left her husband unalived. So she is grieving. One day she wakes up, her children have made breakfast, which was Dorito eggs, and it really set her off. But she's like getting into it with her kids and she's upset, and you could tell she's just really expressing grief and she's in the anger phase of grief. Baby, the last thing she needed was to open her front door and see a random woman dressed in all black sitting in the yard. So Ramona, Danielle Detweiler's character, goes outside and she's like, who are you? What is you doing in my yard? But the woman in the yard is saying some weird things. She's acting very strange. So Danielle Detweiler goes in the house, and her goal throughout the rest of the film is to protect her children and figure out why is this strange woman in her yard. Now, it's important to keep in mind that they are a grieving family because the husband / father just transitioned in the car accident. But the woman in the yard ends up revealing some secrets that let us know why she's in that yard and who she really is. Now, Ramona's son is like the protector of the house, so he's trying to take control and go outside and see who this woman is. But this woman, instead of telling him who she is, she ends up telling him that his mama got a secret she need to tell. And the secret is that Ramona got some blood on her hands. And this is when we first kind of get an idea of who the woman in the yard is and what her symbolism is in the film. The son goes in the house and he asks Ramona, do you have something to tell me, Mom? Like, what do you need to let me know? And Ramona ends up revealing that what led to the car accident was her revealing to her husband that she no longer wanted to be in the family. She no longer wanted to be together. She was unhappy with the home that they just moved into. She was unhappy with the life that they were living, and she wanted to leave. She wanted to separate, and she told him he could keep the kids. I'm just ready to go. So she revealed she was unhappy in her life. He was going to drive them home. She ended up taking the keys and saying, I'll drive. When she's driving, she looks up in the rearview mirror, and this same woman that's in the yard was sitting in the back seat. She got scared, she swerved and crashed, and that's what led to the husband being unalived. So technically the husband's blood was on her hands. But a lot of people were still like, who is this woman in the yard? Why was she in that back seat after Ramona revealed this secret? Why is she sitting in this lady's yard and keep creeping up on her house? Who is she? Well, the woman in the yard said, and you had to listen close, she said, I am your deep inner thoughts. I am your deep inner thoughts. The woman in the yard is Ramona's shadow self. Ramona, for a long time, has been unhappy. For a long time, she's been having deep, dark thoughts about leaving her family and sometimes leaving life as a whole through self-transitioning. The woman in the yard is a manifestation of her shadow, and she's talking to her and telling her, it's okay, you could let go, you could self-transition, your kids will be okay without you. They end up having this kind of like battle back and forth, and Ramona, she's about to self-transition, but Ramona looks over at a doll that her daughter gave her, and she decides that she's going to stay. Now, when the film ends, it zooms in on a beautiful piece of art, and then it pans down to the bottom where there is Ramona's name signed at the bottom of the art, but the R is backwards. And this is when we have the full circle moment, so where we can get a deeper understanding of who everybody in this film is. Now, in the beginning of the film, we have to remember that Ramona is in deep grief. She's in the anger phase of grief. So she's taking her anger out on her children. Her son made these eggs with Doritos in it, and she's mad about it. Her daughter is drawing a painting or drawing a picture. She goes to write her name on the picture, and she writes it backwards. Ramona is mad about it. She yells at her daughter, write the R forward. Why are you writing your letter backwards? Full circle moment at the end of the film, we see Ramona's name signed at the bottom of the picture, and the R is backwards. Ramona having that interaction with her shadow self, where her shadow self is telling her it's okay to go. And then Ramona looks down at that bear that her daughter gave her, and that's her reminder it's important to stay. Her daughter was a manifestation of her own inner child. Ramona chose to stay so that she can continue to heal and grow her inner child. That is why she stayed. So in the film, Ramona is the grieving mother. The son is the grieving son who has now become the father figure in the household. The daughter is Ramona's inner child, and the woman in the yard is her shadow self. Y'all go get into this film so that y'all can get a deep understanding of every single character and the overall lesson of the importance of doing your inner child work so that you don't end up having a woman in your yard. Much love.